Tesla damage means more ultimate charge, and good Winstons are going to be able to do more with that charge. So we're not seeing any monkey scientists, or rather, excuse me, gorilla scientists, as of right now. And actually, whoa, NRG. Okay, so stand 1 is on the Sombra. We're going to be expecting a swap after the Scout. And the reason that you do this is because more often than not, you might find a hello beep boop coming your way. Big all with the Bastion and Jolf on the Orisa. So NRG definitely wants some mobility to deal with this bunker.
And when you see a Bastion, you're gonna see a Genji on the other side. So basically, all NRG Esports needs to do is force force them to play around them, right? If you're able to get Jolf off of this high ground and rotate onto the objective while NRG pushes on, is already there, that's exactly what you want. You need to force the rotation from square one. And so NRG Esports, the icons are switched, by the way. So Izire on this Genji is going to be the key. Everyone has to dive onto this bunker at the same time, but the hacks are going to... Oh, did that land?
Oh,
no,
close,
it did not.
Very close, though.
It was pretty close. Square one, though, they're doing pretty well on this bunker.
Yeah, NRG right now are just playing around this bunker, trying to get cleave damage. You see stand 1 taken very low, forced to just accept some heals from a Grammy, but we're hoping for the Nano Blade. Oh, and there it goes. It's going to be a Nano in.
And are they going to be able to get the kill? Stand 1 was purpled, and they are able to get Big All off of this field. There is no mercy for Square One, something that you do see run with the bunker caught for that res that they no longer have, and he died with that ultimate, which is definitely feels bad. But Jolf did rotate onto the objective, and NRG Esports haven't gotten there just yet. That's going to be a much better position for them, as the deflect into Swift Strike is very fancy, but he's going to lose his life for it. His Hot Date going to take Izire out. Kevster trying to focus down this Ana, but the armor pack is going to make sure that doesn't happen. But Square One does have the EMP now.
Yeah, Square One with tons of tools, nearly the full 6-pack of ultimates. Big All able to get back into the fight and set up. Really good play from Dove. They have him on this Sombra, kind of running distraction. He hacked Izire right away, and he's always going to be able to drop that EMP and put a stop to NRG's push should he choose to do so. Good shield positioning as well from Jolf. You know that you have a Sombra on the enemy team, so put that right up against the wall. Make it so that your backside going to be as well protected as your big front.
Exactly, HamTornado.
Big front, also a great name for a rhyme.
NRG Esports does have an EMP. You were going to see that translocator thrown up and that EMP thrown down, but we're going to see tank mode. Hot Date is off of this field. EMP's only going to get 2 onto NRG Esports, but is it going to be enough? Izire with a nice deflect going to cause some damage onto Square One, who are ahead on this fight right now, but they were able to grab ultimates from Square One. Izire switched right away and then got the Nano, and he's back in. That's a little bit of a debate, and that is absolutely beautiful. 3 kills for Izire on this Genji. That's awesome.
Izire on fire. Man alive. What a debate. I definitely thought, maybe a bit of a miscommunication, because it seemed like he was nowhere in the same zip code
I
to
feel
take
like that was on
advantage
purpose.
of
That had to
Nano.
be.
But we are going to give credit to NRG. This is a veteran team, and they've played Genjis, right? So now they come into point B, still with Kevster on the Sombra, so EMP is available. This is going to be deadly for the Square One defense. Not only do they have to swap so many of their members, but they only have 3 ultimates.
And Square One will not have any. The EMP is big enough, as NRG Esports looking very strong on this roll, and they did have to wait for Smex to come back onto that mech.
Again, now Ultraviolet got to take initiative, get that Nano in early before it's shut down.
EMP goes through, only gets 3 on the other side. Rally was already used, so Square One are going to have that damage mitigation. NRG Esports wanted a little bit more out of that, as you could tell, because all the ultimates came out at the exact same time. Stand One's Primal Rage is one of those ultimates. Smex, though, gonna get the D-Mech, but these kills need to be coming in a little bit faster. Are you going to be able... Oh, good boop to save your life, Lucio. Ooh. Good stuff there. As Kevster is slapped. That's hard to do. That hitbox is very small. Square One looking good on this defense. Everyone has spawned back. Hot Date is back, and he's actually gonna be... He swapped on a Genji just for a second, but is going to be back onto that D.Va. And NRG Esports are not going to give this up just yet. They're going to commit to this, and that's a good thing, because they already have gotten 4 kills. Hot Date was stunned, and now he's gone. Big All is going to be the last one if he's able to come back, and no, he's not. Round 1 complete. Who needs ults?
That's, I suppose so. NRG had a Izire swap almost immediately to the Brigida, and it didn't really seem to matter. Honestly, though, Square One was definitely playing with one of their hands behind their back. sometimes you just eat that loss on point B. You have to swap so many heroes going for, you know, an off-meta composition on point A, and then you're just not quite able to make up the difference. But NRG did not make it easy for them. Stand 1, just want to point out he got the Goomba stop kill onto Jolf, who was 4 seconds away from a potential defense-saving Primal Rage. So the focus fire from NRG is like, yo, I got you in my sights. No Soldier 76, but you know, there's definitely some hard eye contact being made between these two Winstons, and I don't know about that wink, Boop, but okay. So
I don't think I winked.
You didn't? Was something in your eye? Are you all right?
Am I? Anyway, going into NRG Esports and like breaking down that offense, something that they made the adjustments that were necessary, right? They finally got triple kill on Genji, while Klaus did, I believe, get a 5K on his Genji. You know, it's nice to see them back, and he swift striked away, feigning the retreat, gets the nano. Maybe it was miscommunication, but we're going to go ahead and say that's on purpose. Swift strikes back, gets 3 kills, including the Bastion.
That's just, yo, you get the Bastion too. Hey, if that's miscommunication, I'd like a little bit more of that in my ranked games, please.
Be careful what you wish for, HamTornado. So NRG Esports going to be rocking something a little bit more familiar to all of us, and that is going to be that Reinhardt Goats. No bunker comp for them, but Square One, they're maybe going to be coming out here with this Wrecking Ball, which is definitely something you see here on Horizon Lunar Colony.
Square One might be trying to, you know, their hand at the meta before the 1.3 patch hits Contenders, and alas, the dream will roll away just as quickly as it rolled out.
If they saw a bunker on the other side, Wrecking Ball might have stayed onto the field.
Yes, but as it is, Square One's going to run the Reinhardt Zarya Goats really good for pressuring the objective, so they got to go for that fast rotation. Hope not to take too much damage. Yo, all right.
Byram going down. You usually see the Zenyatta on the other side, but that's going to be Lucio, but no Zenyatta's for either side, so this is pretty even now. Stand 1 getting bullied and now is separated from the rest of his team, and now he's going to go back to spawn, but Jolf going to be experiencing the same kind of fate as Stand 1. It's like mirror images right now. The D.Va's also getting the kills on both of them. The D-Mac coming down. Smex is gone. This defense is slowly but surely falling apart, but the rally might save them in at the end. No, Ezire's not even going to get the full cast on that rally for the rest of NRG Esports, and they have to commit to this defense at this point. That's why you're seeing Kevster use that Graviton Surge. They really want to stop them from grabbing this first point right now and make it work a little harder for it.
Oh, both Big All and Angelic really living on the brink right now, playing with those HP bars. It's going to be a full re-engage for NRG Esports. They've given up a tick, but they have all 6 members back, ready and healthy, and Stand 1 close to the Earth Shatter.
But is he close enough? They're able to get it. Oh, look at that. Close enough indeed. Going to have the Earthshatter at the ready. Stand 1 could knock. Is he going to get all 6 members just like Jolf did? That is the dream, right? Square One has an Earthshatter of their own along with the self-destruct, so they do have combo potential. Oh, the shield was off to the side, so very smart Earthshatter there from Stand 1, knowing that it was free. Byram's going to get that kill onto Big All, but Stand 1 a little bit too aggressive on that. Reinhardt is going to go down, but it doesn't matter because Jolf is going to follow him. NRG Esports are going to win this defense. That was a long fight there at the end with back and forth, but NRG Esports committed with that grab, and now they're finding themselves on top with another grab.
A smart engage from NRG. You rarely ever actually see such heavy investments from both teams in the very first fight, but that just goes to show how much parity we see in Group B and how much these two teams really respect each other. Hey, you've won without a Reinhardt before. We're not going to take that chance. We're going to drop a grab and try and draw some more ultimates out of you and even things up. That's exactly what we see here now. 4 ultimates for each side.
Oh, Sound Barrier just saved the team there. Square One couldn't have walked onto the point without that Sound Barrier. The Graviton Surge now gonna be coming from Square One. Will the bigger bang connect? Yes, it will. Kevster is gonna be gone, but that didn't matter last time when NRG only had 5 members. Earthshatter going through, and Jolf gonna be going down. Without that shield, Square One might not last much longer, but Stand One seems to die right after doing things for his team. He's got to stay alive a little bit longer. Square One isn't letting him be that aggressive Reinhardt he got to be last week. NRG Esports have to adjust.
Both sides really focusing down the Reinhardts. Actually, as those 2 trances were simultaneously popped, we also saw simultaneous stuns onto both of the Reins, which just goes to show, you know, Brigitte not a super flashy hero, but working very hard at all times to try and make those opportunities happen for the team. But we do have a bit of a pause coming through, a little tech issue.
I like this beat that's coming in, that chirp. Yeah, that's
Beep,
great.
beep, 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 beep.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta get into the rhythm because NRG, they gotta get their feet back underneath themselves. They got wrapped around so that half of the team was actually on the attacking side, got split away, and so the D.Va, who I believe was left on the objective, wasn't really able to help out any of her team. So coming back in here, Square One seemed to have a very good shot at capping this point.
I think it's a 5v4 right now on the point. I don't know. We don't know why the pause was taken. We'll get information when we have it. But looking at how this goes, NRG already pulled back a fight that they were behind in. They've done some amazing, really cool plays. And the only reason why I bring that up is because with GOATs, we don't really see that often. But it's really cool to see that NRG has that look, has that potential Genji when we see it on Horizon Lunar Colony, or maybe later, because I think it's time to announce the fact that the playoff patch is going to be the current live patch. So we're going to finish up the season with this GOATS patch, and then we're going to move on to the live patch for the tournament bracket. And so a lot of things could change. There's 4 weeks until the playoff bracket, and so these teams have tons of time to practice new stuff.
Yeah, that's what's so exciting. One of the reasons that I kind of hope to see, Jolf stay on the Hammond on their attacking side is like, hey, you can always be preparing for, when Hammond's going to be even stronger. Didn't take the chance this time around, I would say wisely, because there was no bunker to disrupt, but the potential is always there, and especially with Winston as well. The new changes to the knockback mechanic going to make things really interesting, because in yesterday's collegiate matches, I have never, ever seen Reinhardt's get that much hang time. It was like a full 5 seconds at points. He was just floating around like a 99 Luft balloons.
It was a legitimate trampoline park on Kings Row, which was nuts. And then so many boops. I think displacement's going to get very, very strong coming into this next patch. But we're still here on this one. We're still looking at GOATS. And right now, GOATS is still the name of the game. You've seen NRG play GOATS. You've seen Square One play GOATS. Who's in charge right now? Who's the alpha GOAT?
I mean, look at the map score, 1-1. It's tied up, both sides, hot and you're cold, your yes and your no. So it is going to be up to those kind of individual playmaking spots. And it was Smex, poor Smex, just in the middle of that DMEC animation. That will signal Square One's point A cap. It's been such a brawl, though, that Square One doesn't have a massive advantage coming in. They will have the Shatter and the Trance, so that's going to buy them some time. But NRG, they need it to try and get up close to some of those because, man alive, Byram is the closest one on the side of the defense, and he's only 60% to the Trance. Big Shatter!
Joel, big Shatter in the back. Sandwell's going to get stunned a little bit later, but actually going to get Joel in at the end. Will Square One have enough to finish this out? Defensive spawns are an issue. Smex is demeched, though, so he has a choice. Do you go back to spawn, switch, lose that ult charge, or do you try to get back in that mech? He's going to go ahead and switch and lose that ult charge. Desire going to be going down, was stunned as well. Square One looking very strong to capture this second point. They are ahead in time from NRG Esports, as well as the Transcendence has to come in desperation to keep NRG Esports in at this game. Square One going to be using all of their ultimates, and they are going to get a couple kills, and no one is on the point. NRG Esports are going to fall. Square One tying it up 2-2 with a little bit more time on the clock.
Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw. Smex, it was more important for him to have a body on the point than it was for him for potential future bombs, right? So,
sorry, it's just seeing the one pop up. And it just stayed there so long. 1 second. I thought it was really funny. NRG Esports with 3 minutes and 38 seconds left are going to go on their attack first. I wonder if we're going to see any more shenanigans from them.
I hope so. Some of their strongest looks have been when they've just reacted to what Square One do. Because we know, of course, they come in with, predetermined plays, but it's always great to see these teams think on their feet, which Square One certainly did in that brawl of a fight in the last round. Came back in here, they only needed 2 ultimates. Talking about it as if they needed more time to get the grab. Not so. So, NRG Esports, destiny in their own hands. They can certainly also finish out Horizon Lunar Colony. And while Stand One is showing the Sombra right now, Sombra is still a very strong hero on Assault and just any map type in general that favors constructed team fights.
Stand one, most likely. I don't know why you would give up a Reinhardt and keep a debuff, so
well.
That's definitely for that scout. Square One going to be running classic Goats, and honestly, this Goats matchup has been pretty good so far. Both teams actually have quite a bit of an opportunity to finish both rounds, and we might be into extra innings again here. But first, we got to finish this. Stand One did use Sombra to scout, and is now on that Reinhardt. They know what they're looking at.
And what it is, a very determined Square One team. They're all currently on the high ground. Eventually the rotation will come through and we'll see the battle take place on the objective itself. Well, that's what the playbook was in the past. Last round, if anything to go by, they've certainly were in space.
Gotta be really quiet when you're in space.
They don't know where they are.
Okay, now they're back. They're back. That's what Oxygen feels
through.
like. Exactly. It's NRG Esports coming back with an attack right now. But Square One know where they're coming from. They're blocking that choke. So they're just jostling for position. Going left, going right. It's a dance right now. NRG Esports almost losing Byron there during his Orb of Destruction. But he's going to survive 17 HP from Byron. He is living on the edge, my friends. But Stand One living in the grave. 6v5 now for Square One on this defense. They took a lot of time to figure out how they wanted to commit. Never actually did it, and then now they have to reset.
Living in a Grave, a great album. So NRG now, they have still this high ground to spare, but Zenyatta is going to be forced off. That's going to be almost a full reset, a soft reset per se, as they wait for Stand One to get back in here. And Square One playing kind of that patient aggression. You see the rotation. They expected that maybe NRG might be a little bit caught off guard. The stun comes immediately onto the Reinhardt. They all capitalize. Now they just got to do it again, but with a bit of a reassurance, insurance policy with Ultraviolet's trance.
The D.Va trying to assert herself a little bit, boosting right into the faces of Square One. Dub's going to go ahead and drop off at the high ground as the flank from NRG Esports has started. Graviton Surge now on the high ground. A lot of Square One taken low. Angelic taken all the way down. And NRG Esports have to take this point now. They have to get on the point. Earthshatter, I don't think connected with anything. That was very interesting as he was still on the high ground during the drop down. Jolt's going to use that Earthshatter himself. Not going to find anything from NRG. Sound Barrier has been invested for NRG Esports. They know that if they're going to win the point, it's going to be right now. Good pin is not going to, it's going to connect but not kill them. With Hot Date, a self-destruct too. 2 kills there. NRG Esports needed to take that a little bit more. Interesting shatter from Stand One as well.
Yeah, interesting is a word that we could use there, Boo. But a less interesting sound barrier from Poops. He dropped it, and nobody was really in position to charge in and capitalize on it. You saw the way that Jolf kind of, well, he was stunned out of the fight, but he waited, charged back in, found the Brigida, and that was going to be the fight for Square One. Just do want to point out, if there is anything Square One need to tighten up a little bit, Angelic has fallen very early in many of these fights. Questionable positioning, very aggressive, and he has the sound barrier now, which his team needs desperately. So he has to stay alive. Both he and Ultraviolet will be the saviors for this Square One defense if they can keep it up.
They're trying to keep Square One on their toes, feigning a flank, but going the other way. And now they're going to go through the left side, going up top, and they want to have the high ground. If they're shooting downwards, that aim is just so much easier for them. Square One have popped up shots on the objective. The Graviton Surge has been thrown, but Ultraviolet does have a Transcendence. Bigger Bang combo is out, and nothing to it. Earthshatter gonna knock Stand One down, and a dub on the other side of things. Look at this go. Square One in complete control. No time left on the clock. Square One are going to full hold NRG Esports with 3.5 minutes on the clock for their time bank. But now Square One only need 1 tick to go up on NRG Esports 2-1 and get themselves match point.
Whew. You could tell NRG maybe starting to feel the pressure just a little bit. A smidgen of hesitation from an otherwise very controlled team, as you saw them kind of waffling on that high ground, looking for an opening and not really finding it. They end up just going for the going onto the low ground through that same choke, and Square One were absolutely ready. From Ultraviolet's point of view, you saw him waiting just 2 seconds, allowing the health bars to dip down just a little bit, baiting NRG in to commit even harder. Then he pops the trance. Shatter comes through from Drolf, actually second, but gets much better value, which is often the case with those tank ultimates. Square One now have a clear win condition.
Clear indeed. 1 tick and 1 second more. 4 minutes and 1 second for them to take that first tick. NRG Esports, I don't think expected this from Square One. They look like they're playing a little surprised. And if everyone forgot, coming out of Trials, Square One was the #1 team. They beat Sky Foxes in Trials.
Yep.
And a lot of people said this team knows how to play their goats, right? They have a European coach, and we know how good Europe is at their goats.
Tanks.
Exactly. And so Square One showing off their goats right now, outplaying NRG Esports on theirs. The rotations for NRG have been really interesting as well.
Yeah, they seem to want to get the high ground very often, which is, something that you do, and just like you said, Boop, it is their duty to make advantage of that positioning, but they never quite found that opportunity, or they just weren't ready to pull the trigger, and so gave Square One a lot of free time, which they can't really afford. They must hold for 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Mirror compositions once again. If history bears out, Square One are looking good in this mirror engagement, but NRG, of course, with a big engagement.
Yo, Boop's asserting himself there, trying to get a good at Boop. Just placed a lot of Square One. Jelf taken low and taken out of this game. Big All also low. Stand One getting saved by the armor pack. He did not want to lose that Reinhardt even in this situation. He might have been back in time, but you never know. Square One gonna have to try again.
Close to a third of that third of a point. So just, 3 more pushes, you get a full tick. Is that how math works, numbers guy?
Yep.
Perfect. I nailed it. Yes.
Yeah.
So
You're advancing.
I am learning eventually.
Gifted and talented.
Took me 27 years. But Square One now coming in are going to be able to match the Earth Shatter charge. Graviton Surge still a little bit behind, about 20%, so ultimates may not be the way that Square One wins this. Gotta go for that fast engagement, because NRG now know that maybe one fight stands between them and a loss, so they're coming in aggressively.
Stand One is one of the more aggressive Reinhardts we've got, and he's going to have an Earth Shatter for the next fight. The only thing they used there was a Graviton Surge, and so by the time NRG cycles through the ultimates they have, it'll be back.
That's kind of the thing that happens, though, when you play GOATs. You're hoping to draw ultimates, right? And then we're going to get late stagger. In space, nobody can hear the Diva scream.
Except Diva and everyone.
Except everybody. So Square One, they still haven't quite yet gotten to that advantage, and if NRG continue to be disciplined in their ultimate cycling, there never will be that point, except Ultraviolet. Gotta add another U to your name, little mini Jonak right there.
Byron's been getting picked off in this way a lot, so maybe being a little too aggressive in terms of trying to get that offensive potential from that Zenyatta through. But now, NRG Esports are in a 5v6. Earthshatter 180. Everyone's up high, dude. That's not how that works. Earthshatters can't climb, as the Transcendent's going to keep a lot of Square One alive, but Stand One going down. Self-destruct from Smeg's not going to do anything from that. Byram is going to be back with that Transcendence to stall this out just a little bit longer. Remember, all they need is a tick to go up 2-1 against NRG Esports. It's looking like they're going to do that. NRG Esports pushed off at this point. Square One impressive in this victory as well. Go up 2-1 against NRG, our #1 team coming into this game.
Yep. And that is a scary thing, Boop. When we talk about parity, we often, say, oh, the middle of the pack is very, crammed. There's a lot of good, the middle tier teams, a lot of, single series 1 kind of teams. But the very top, we thought for sure NRG would have a big advantage coming in against an unsigned, started an open division Square One team. And boy, have the tables turned. Can we say at this point, do we have enough tape that Square One is a team that gets better as they evolve, as they warm up?
Oh, definitely. I mean, they won against XL2 last week. They're ahead right now with NRG, the #1 team in Group B, 2-1, having match point before we do go to Junkertown. And so I wonder if we're going to see that bunker cop. We know that Square One not afraid of that Bastion, and NRG Esports got a little afraid. They needed that Nano Blade to break through that bunker because it wasn't looking good for them at that point in time too. But the craziest thing to me is that NRG and Square One, when they play GOATs, one team is playing better GOATs. Going back to that question where it was even coming into Horizon Lunar Colony, right now Square One is playing a better GOATs than NRG.
I could also agree with that assessment, because we just take a look at that ultimate usage. You come in here, NRG, remember we said, oh well, Square One's not going to be able to make up the ultimate difference. Didn't seem to matter, right? You got those tools, but you have to have the chance to use them. And by the time Byram popped Trance, it was because Stand One had already died, and it was, desperation mode. So hopefully NRG can kind of, recollect themselves, take a sip of the juice, bite of the granola, whatever you need, get that energy back in, because we could see this go to 5 maps, but if Square One continue to play the way that they have been, Junkertown might be theirs.
I completely agree with you, and so that's some good coaching coming from Square One's team as well. NRG Esports need to make some adjustments. Again, they just seem to be surprised by the tempo and just... They're not afraid. Square One is not afraid of NRG at all. They didn't care about a record. They didn't care about where you were on standings. They just want to win this game right now. There was no looking ahead for them, and so they're battling NRG Esports to the brink possibly of winning this game, and that's a pretty big storyline in terms of that's giving me Second Wind kind of vibes last season. After Second Wind beat Gladiators Legion, all of a sudden everyone took them seriously, while XL2 arguably is a little weaker, maybe a ton weaker by some standards. For this season, Square One got the victory there. This is their first actual enormous test against NRG. If they take this win, they're going to be right up where Second Wind was last season.
Exactly, and then we start to think about the playoff potential. Who are they going to be dominating in the other group, right? Sky's the limit here for Square One, so you just have to, tamp it all down, stay disciplined, right? Because the same mistakes that plagued NRG in that Horizon Lunar Colony map, Square One suffered from in Control and at times on King's Row. So we can't forget that neither of these teams are, both of them are playing, at times a little bit sloppily. So the potential is still there for Square One. They just got to keep their heads about them.
Well, the other thing that I want to talk about, too, is Stand One came into this with a ton of hype. NRG Esports, and rightfully so.
Rightfully so.
Stand One has been amazing in the first 2 games. Smacks
really
amazing
great.
in the last
Quality
2
off
games.
tank.
But the thing about Stand One is, I feel bad saying this, but kind of gives me some Gig does this on Tendies, right? Where you get hyper aggressive, and when teams don't adjust to that, you're going to be pounding that hammer across their faces and winning those games. But right now, Square One's not one of those teams. They know how to handle an aggressive Reinhardt.
Exactly, and that's put a collar on the main tank of NRG Esports, who is now on the Orisa. This is all about the setup, and they're just on top of the cabbage right now because the cart is otherwise occupied.
Pook's actually an interesting Guardian Angel to start there, missing the shield, I think. That was an opportunity for them to take down that Mercy. Byram gonna be on the Bastion instead of the Zenyatta, and look at the Symmetra still on the field. I love this kind of interaction between Bastion and Symmetra. It makes so much sense when you see it for the first time. A really great way for the Bastion to reposition to safety, but Kepster going to be going down. Doesn't matter where you are on that teleporter. If you're dead, it's Stand One going to be using it to flank the backline of Square One. Is it going to work, though, as Kepster is going to get the res? That is those 2 icons you don't ever see next to each other. As Desire going to get another kill onto Jolf. NRG Esports are going to be able to get onto this payload.
They will once they clean up all the last remaining members. Big Ol, the last member of Square One standing. I like this adaptation from NRG. We were just saying, Stand One, if he doesn't adjust his playstyle, he's not going to get anything done. And oh boy, we got to come up with a name for this. Lighthouse? The Deadly Lighthouse? I don't know. I like it all. Desire has the Dragon Strike. Square One have to walk into this, this massive damage barrage. Eventually, Ultraviolet will have the Coalescence, but it feels like a pea shooter, a squirt gun against the power of a Bastion.
That's actually a super fun place for the Bastion to be, as Hot Date is going to burst him down. NRG Esports didn't know exactly how to deal with this engage from Square One. I think Orisa left, and Bastion was by himself without a shield, and then D.Va was just tickling him on the behind.
Okay, that was a little bit awkward. I was getting extremely hyped about all of the potential with those repositionings. We hear Kepster pop that ultimate, so we expect the swap to be coming through, and indeed it will be a little bit more.
One of the best voice lines in the whole game. I'm glad he got to hear it.
It is. Symmetra, underrated hero. Please don't play her in my ranked games.
No.
But Square One, now they actually have an unforced advantage here. Big Ol pops that rally.
So is the rally going to be what they need to keep this defense going? NRG Esports unable to get onto the payload just yet. They're actually ceding that space. Stand One unable to do anything right now, keeping that shield up more than anything else. As Smek's also taken to half health, but this means that the supports are going to get a little bit more ult charge, and I think they might be waiting for Byram's Transcendence to really get things going. It'll be here very soon, and Stand One going to fall victim to that Transcendence, from that Graviton Surge, but Smek's going to be using that self-destruct. Hot Date as well. Kills all around. Trades 2 on each side. NRG Esports almost losing Byron there as well. He is going to get to that Transcendence. Stand 1 and Kevster are going to be back here very, very soon. Square 1, though, going to get that defense.
Standoff across the Outback right here for these two teams. They both lost their Reinhardt, so no meaningful pushes, but NRG will get Stand 1 back a little bit more quickly. Actually, Jolf into the fray now as well, but no ultimates to speak of. Square 1 need to buy time, so Ultraviolet has the trance. He has it now.
Oh, and Byron uses the trance because they know the grab's not coming from the other side, and Stand 1 needed the health. The Earthshatter goes through, but no one from Square 1 gonna be knocked down. Kevster actually gonna be taken back to spawn, and Square 1 are in a situation now that I don't think anyone thought would be what we're seeing right now. NRG Esports might be held at A here.
34 seconds for NRG to make something of this push, and they just expended every ultimate that they had there. Stand 1 going in so aggressively. Didn't have the setup from the shield bash, throws the Earthshatter anyways, and then charges Ultraviolet, who is trancing across the map, only to be taken down by the Brigida. So all around right now, NRG looking a little bit frazzled. They got to put their heads on their shoulders here, because Kevster is close to the grab. They need to buy enough time until that comes in.
I love what Square 1 is doing now. They use the rally, they aggress upon NRG Esports, and Dove is gonna get the kill. The sound barrier was there as well for Square 1. NRG Esports is gonna get held. No, they aren't. Smex is gonna get 2 kills with that self-destruct, but I don't think it's gonna be enough as the Earthshatter is gonna knock Poops onto the ground. Square 1 are holding NRG Esports on point A on Junkertown. Those words came out of my mouth. r/new sentence.
That is something that just happened. We all just witnessed that. What a crazy play. Smex trying to be a hero there. Gets 2 kills, but there just aren't not enough bodies left from the attackers to try and capitalize on that. You're leaning forward, handle the hip. You definitely quirking your head, much like one of the dogs. But and it is kind of one of those moments. So many great opportunities for NRG to come forward. Just didn't happen.
Talk about parity, right? After this game, Envy, I think, we're going to see them play next. Envy did take down Square 1. That is that loss that they have. Envy all of a sudden is in control of their destiny. On top of this group, they'll be the only undefeated team left. So, NRG Esports, they have to hold, and they got stopped at a really inopportunistic position as well. Usually on A stops, it's right before the point. But Square 1 actually has some room to work with.
Yeah, this is a little bit awkward. NRG hopefully will be going for a spawn defense. You can buy yourself enough time to hopefully get back into the fray before point A finishes if you hold very closely. Dove can spy them out with this Widow's scope, and because he's expecting it, this is kind of going to be one of the few looks that NRG will have for the defense. As for the offense, though, Hot Day, very excited to see what he can do on the Bastion. If this does come through, we would be expecting then Jolf to get on the Orisa, because Reinhardt, you have to put your body on the line in order to provide that shielding, and you're not going to be doing a ton except being a giant ult battery. So Widow probably just for a scope, Hot Date's Bastion just for flavor.
Flavor's always good. And so Square 1, they're going to be entering this battle on the high ground. They're going to go ahead and use this comp. And what I like about this is basically they can push NRG off with the Bastion, potentially switch off of it, and then make it back onto the payload. But it looks like Hot Date's going to stick onto this Bastion.
He's thinking about it.
Now. Yeah, he's leaving spawn, and so he's going to go ahead and use it. We're not going to see that Arrested to combo it, but NRG Esports has already given a lot of space. So basically, this is like 1.5 fight territory. If NRG Esports gets wiped here, the yellow box of victory for Square 1 is so close. They will get it. Every pick matters. Every casualty matters for NRG Esports. Using the armor pack on Byron means that it's not going to be available for anyone else for another 6 seconds. So there is an opportunity now for Square 1 to get a pick. No, it is going to be back. I like that they're slow playing this. They know how much time to work with. Hot Date repositioning, trying to get the most value out of this Bastion.
Yeah, he wants to set up a crossfire, ideally here, much of the way that a Widow would. And he found him, Reinhardt!
Oh, that's a quick getaway for that Bastion. Jolf going to be taken down. Earthshatter coming through from NRG Esports as well. You know, they have to do this 3 or 4 more times, but at least they got this check mark here.
Oh, yeah, no. Otherwise, they would have run out of space to give if they had just continued backpedaling. But that's a big investment from NRG right there. Both of those highly impactful tank ultimates, Graph and Shatter. So Square 1, regardless, will be coming in here with a slight ultimate advantage. The question is, how are we going to use it? Ultraviolet will have Trans, Big Ol will have Rally. That can buy Square 1 actually quite a large advantage if Azire doesn't build it up soon as well.
The Bricks can build it up very soon, so look at Desire. That rally is going to be very important for NRG Esports. Self-destruct as well. The rally is going to be out from Big All. Desire is going to be a little bit further behind, but if Square One are unable to get any picks here, then it won't really matter. Kevster is going to get Hot Day out of that mech. Self-destruct going through. NRG Esports finding nothing there, and they have one less tank, or Hot Day has one less tank. The Earthshatter are going to be coming through from Square One. 3 members from NRG on the ground, but the Transcendence is going to save everybody. That was super scary from NRG Esports. Square One, though, still on the payload. Sound barrier is there. They have the shields, but they don't have a lot of bodies, since a lot of them are on the ground and stunned. And now the Transcendence coming from Ultraviolet, keeping all of Square One alive. Support ultimates from both sides. Now Smex and Byram gonna get kills for NRG. This isn't over yet.
No, not indeed. NRG Esports still got it. The flame burst strong within their hearts. Stand One waving. He's got the shatter, and he's feeling pretty good right there. Heavy investment from Square One. Both support ultimates gone. Ultraviolet got that. Was able to come back from that stun in the very nick of time to pop Trance, but actually it may have been a curse in disguise, because now Square One will have nothing for Stand One's shatter.
Well, Dove has a Graviton Surge. NRG Esports has 3 ultimates. Which one will win in the end? Dove is going to be using that Graviton Surge, but there is a Transcendence to counter it. Earthshatter goes through from Stand One. Jolt might need a big one. The Self-destruct's down. Anyone on the ground? Yes! Oh! 2 members do go down. Square One have a 6v4 on the payload. They don't have much to work with. NRG Esports, they're already getting pushed off. They got to make it onto the payload. They don't have any time to work with. Square One on the brink of taking down the #1 team, NRG Esports, and they're not even close to the payload. They're desperation time. The ally barrier already used for NRG Esports. The stun is there. Byram is gone. This is going to happen, everyone. Square One is going to upset our #1 team of Group B. Envy will be taking that role over after this game, but they still have to finish things out. Square One in complete control.
Yes, Stand One alive, but only just barely a sliver of health. Now, Pooks is still alive here. Square One got to find a little bit more of that focus fire, clean things up here. We've seen crazier things. Now the sound barrier from Angelic, making sure that everybody is hale and healthy. Pooks can't do the same for his team. In fact, nobody's around the cart, and it has happened, folks. Square One taking the series.
Let alone if they're going to lose a map. That was a question coming into this. They lost the game. Huge upset coming from Square One, winning that 3-1. That's going to be good for their map win-loss differential as well, because I think we can assume at this point Group B is going to be incredibly close.
Whew, it is such a prize fight right now between the first and the second seeding in this group. Square One, really impressive stuff just all around. There were so many moments where, again, you kind of saw maybe a wrinkle in the plan, maybe a wrinkle in the execution. You thought, oh, well, we have been seeing Angelic die very often. You know, maybe that wasn't the best grab in the universe, but in the end, it doesn't matter. You have to be playing to, you know, beat your opponent. And what NRG offered them was, you know, a ton of aggression, but little else.
So Square One, you're in a different position now. The next game you actually might be favored in. I'm interested to see how they're going to play that game, because that's a position that they haven't been in all season, as they faced 3 academy teams in a row in their group. Yes, and losing to Envy in the first week, that might end up being the separation between our #1 and #2 seeds. One thing is for sure, I think the most impressive thing for Square One, in my opinion, is that's some of the best team play. I know that we talk about with GOATs a lot, you have to be a good team, but Square One were a hive mind, really. Even when they were down to members, they all inherently knew how to work with each other. I am incredibly impressed.
Yeah, and not just that, but who was most vulnerable on NRG? That was something that NRG certainly lacked, right? Focus fire and time to kill was an issue for that team, and so the fact that Square One was already on top of that, very impressive.
I mean, we could even trace this momentum all the way back to Joel's 6-man shatter on King's Row. It didn't really leave after that, and so NRG goes down 3-1 to Square One, our Path to Pro winners, the Trials #1 team, taking down their 2nd Academy team of the season. Congratulations, you guys deserve this. But there is still so much more to go today. We have